Episode 63, From One Hand to Another. Reiner Braun runs into a breathless Falco Grice out in town. When asked where he is going, Falco says that he has left something behind at the headquarters and is going to retrieve it. But in actuality, he is mailing a letter outside of the internment zone for Mr. Kruger, the disabled soldier he had met upon returning to Liberio. In the evening, Theo Magath learns from Kozlo that the entirety of the Tiber family has come to visit. As the two go to meet their visitors, Kozlo notes that the Tiber's personal guards are not part of the Marleyan military. They are greeted by the family's current head, Willie Tiber, who introduces them to the rest of the family. Speaking privately, Willie asks Magath if he is able to tell which Tiber is currently holding the Warhammer Titan. Magath says that he cannot and wonders if it is even here at all. Amused, Willie assures him that it is. He tells Magath that he came here to see the statue of Helos, the Marleyan hero, who slew the devil of all earth and became renowned as a hero who saved the world. When Willie admires the craftsmanship of the statue and its status as a symbol of the Marleyan spirit, Magath agrees, but because it is empty inside. Willie laughs and calls him a tough critic before asking Magath about his plans to reinstate Marley's conscription system. Magath feels that war is too distant for the average Marleyan, whose battles are being fought by titans or conquered armies while Marleyans only read about it in the news. If Magath could say something to someone controlling Marley in the shadows, he would tell them that it is too late. Noting Magath's insinuation, Willie reveals that the Tiber family is, as Magath suspects, currently in control of Marley. However, he insists that Marley's penchant for war has always existed, and that the Tibers gave the nation the power and freedom to do so as atonement. Willie acknowledges that the negativity between Marley and Eldia is the Tibers' responsibility, but assures Magath that he intends to reveal the truth to the world at the upcoming festival. He is not lying about coming to see the statue, as he believes Marley needs a hero once more, and entreats Magath to work with him. At a military meeting, Reiner explains possible methods of invading Paradis Island, going into detail concerning benefits and weaknesses of the various options, but the strategist listening to him is unhappy that Reiner does not have a decisive plan, and concludes it was not worth letting an Eldian talk. The warriors then head outside to contemplate the merit of their leadership while watching the candidates train in the yard. Falco manages to overtake Gabi Brown at the end of their race, and the candidates celebrate afterward, though Colt does not believe his brother will be able to surpass Gabi at this point. As the candidates depart for the day, Gabi expresses her frustration with Falco's determination to beat her, pointing out that the Grice family will be made honorary Marleyans anyway, once Colt inherits the Beast Titan, and demands to know why he is trying so hard. Unable to keep from snapping back, Falco admits that he is doing it for her, which confuses Gabi, who cannot understand why he would get in her way if he is doing it for her. Falco runs off in embarrassment, and the remaining candidates visit the festival stage under construction in the Liberio internment zone, where the Tiber family will announce their plan for war against Paradis in front of ambassadors from other nations. Udo is skeptical that the world will join forces with Marley as easily as planned. Given his experience coming from an internment zone abroad, hatred for Eldians is even worse outside of Marley. Even so, Gabi is hopeful that choosing to have the event here might help the rest of the world understand Eldians. Near the stage, Magath hands Willie a small book, which causes the latter to note that a large-scale demolition is required. Willie congratulates Magath and tells him that the military is his. However, Magath corrects him and says the military serves the nation, and the nation's commander is Willie. Willie is uneasy being labeled as such and admits that he understands now why previous Tibers did not try to properly steer the country. He laments that he has to be the one who carries this out now. At the hospital, Falco pays Kruger a visit, who congratulates him on beating Gabi. He notices a baseball mitt by Kruger's side and asks if it was sent from his family. Kruger says they thought it would make hospital life less boring, but it is hard in his current state. He tells Falco that after the festival he will be going back to his hometown. Spotting a doctor coming, Falco decides to leave and the doctor sits beside Kruger. The doctor introduces himself as Jagar, a physician for the internment zone who comes here sometimes to drink tea. He tells Kruger about the history of Falco's family and the ties the boy's uncle had with the Eldian restorationists. Colt and Falco agreed to train as warriors to protect their family from retribution. Jaeger urges for Kruger to stop sending Falco on his errands, because if Falco falls under suspicion, it will all have been for nothing. He also suggests Kruger should return to his family if he is truly healthy, because someday he will not be able to see them anymore and he should not live with regrets. Suspecting Jaeger might have regrets of his own, Kruger asks him about it, and Jaeger admits that he regrets every day. Believing that he was responsible for his children's fates, which included forcing his son to become a doctor just like him, Jaeger suddenly starts to scream and 2 staff members of the hospital arrive to escort him away. Left by himself, Kruger tosses a baseball upward. That night, on the eve of the festival, the warrior candidates prepare themselves to serve as waiters to the many ambassadors who have come to Liberio. Udo becomes frustrated upon hearing a few of them speak ill of Eldians, and he accidentally spills wine on the kimono of an ambassador from Hizuru. Worrying for Udo's safety, the ambassador plays it off as if she had spilled it on herself, telling Udo to keep quiet. Elsewhere in the dining hall, Willie greets ambassadors Ogueno and Nambia, along with other old childhood friends. The loose chatter comes to an end when the Marleyan ambassador greets the gathering with a crude and awkward speech. He is gracefully sent aside by Willie, who gives his own speech to the ambassadors. Expressing his desire to rid the world of the Titan scourge which has been the cause of concern for many nations, Willie announces that he will declare his solution for the crisis tomorrow night following his theater production. The next morning, Gabi wakes up to a ruckus outside. The internment zone has been opened to outsiders who have set up food stalls, and she joins the other warrior candidates in exploring the festival. Reiner, Peak, and Galliard join them, and Reiner spends much of his money paying for food for everyone, but he smiles when he sees how good a time Gabi is having. By the end of the day, Gabi is stuffed to the point where Reiner must drag her away. That night, the group that explored the food stalls joins Colt and Zeke Jaeger at their seats near the festival stage. Colt notices Falco is missing, and Udo explains that Falco ran off when he saw someone he knew. A moment later, Falco runs up and calls for Reiner, asking him to come with him. He leads Reiner away to a basement where he introduces him to Kruger, who remarks that it has been 4 years since he and Reiner had last seen each other. Reiner immediately recognizes Kruger as Eren Jaeger,